Hey there, and welcome to Change by Choice. My name is Charlotte Fro, and I am super pumped to be bringing this next topic to you. Now, if you've listened to some of my past podcasts, you may have heard me talk to this already. We've dug into before, how to get clarity in your life and some steps that are going to help bring you there. And, quite frankly, every time you evaluate your life and yourself and things that are working and things that aren't working, you are getting clearer. They might not always feel good, but you are getting clearer. So just know that clarity, it really connects to everything in life. And oftentimes when I'm working with people and they feel stuck, like they don't know what they want as their goals, they don't know how to move forward, they don't know how to take that step so that they have, a little bit more happiness, a little bit more peace in their life. Clarity is at the foundation of all of that. And that's why it's so important. I often witness, I've also gone through times in my life where I've kind of, swept it under the rug, just hoping that what I was doing was going to get me to a place that was a little bit happier, maybe a little bit clearer. Thing is that I wasn't taking necessary steps. I wasn't intentional in my steps. And just hoping that I was going to land somewhere wasn't enough. And I see that too with the people that I serve, that I help. It's that clarity can become such a place of frustration. Because when you're not clear, and then you're trying to tackle all these other areas of your life, you're always led back to the reality that you just don't know what you want or which way you want to go. It can be really frustrating, right? And when you're in a place of frustration, do you really want to sit in there? Probably not. But here's the thing. If you're in that spot, and this could be one area of your life, this could be your entire life, this could be a relationship in your life, allowing yourself to just, to sit in it a little bit, to be okay that it's frustrating, to give yourself permission that sometimes you don't have it all together. That sometimes, even if you're the most successful, driven, high-achieving individual, you still might get into places where you're not certain how to move forward or what it is that you want for that next step. And that's okay. We're human beings. It's messy sometimes, right? We don't have everything put together at every single moment. And part of the blessing that you have when you're in those spots where you're just not sure is that on the other side of that is a blank canvas, is the future, right? And so instead of being frustrated, start to try and shift that dialogue to this is where I'm at. And the only thing that's important is, what are you going to do about it? Because ignoring it and the avoidance of it isn't going to do anything but prolong the frustration, prolong the misery, prolong the inevitable, which is at some point you're going to hit a wall and you're going to need to move forward. And so why not take proactive steps, right? So that's what we're talking about today, is how to just take a few proactive steps, a few habits, one specific habit, and just start with that and see where it leads you. So here's the thing. Whenever I'm working with people, another common frustration that comes up is they don't know how to journal. And now, anytime if you've heard me talk about this before, I'm not talking long-winded Dear Diary excerpts that you do every single day and they're pages long. If that's you, fantastic. But I know for myself, I wasn't that person. I've now built myself to be in a place where I can journal a lot more. But when I bring myself back to when I first started, I just, even if I had the intention, I just never got there. And so a lot of times, the question was I don't really know what to journal about. I don't really know how to start the process. And so some people are really good at just having that blank piece of paper and just whatever's in their head, you just get it out. And it's a method that does really work. But again, if you've never done it and you haven't gotten there, it can be a little intimidating, right? You could sit there for 10, 20 minutes and not really know what to put on that piece of paper. And so with clarity, with getting closer to clarity, there's some specific questions that you can ask yourself that will move the needle closer. It might not mean that right after you do those exercises, you're like, bing, I know exactly what I want in life. There's an evolution. There is grace that you need to give yourself while you're figuring it out. And my belief system is that, forward is forward. One step is better than nothing. And every time that you get handed something, whether it feels good or feels bad, you're getting handed data of, well, what is it? Does this work for me? Does this not work for me? Is this something that I love? Is this something that I'm not really inclined to? How are you taking that information that you're getting on a day-to-day, that you're getting day-to-day and applying it to how it is that you want to, move forward in your life with your business goals, right? So this is it. This is how we show up in one area really becomes a habit and how we show up in all areas. And I'm sure you've heard me say it before, if you've, been part of my podcast before, but carving out reflection time, some time for yourself in the morning and at night, if you can do both, is essential to growth. It's essential to having just a little space to be able to acknowledge and to audit and to reflect on how things have been going and what it is that you want. So that's the first step, is you have to have the desire to carve out the space, even if it's 20 minutes, even if it's 10 minutes. Don't expect something magical to happen if you're not willing to shift some of the habits that you have. So that's the first step. Ask yourself, how badly do I want to become clear? And if you're like, not that bad, then maybe ask yourself, why is that? Because usually something that comes up is often something that also needs to be rectified. Is it, you just don't know where you're going to get the time? Or you're kind of scared of the process? Or you're scared of success? Like, what does it mean if you actually get there? Then what would you do then? Or is it that when you're going to develop and really start to dig into that clarity, that you may have to ask yourself some questions that may bring up some answers that deep down are going to be there, where you're not happy, where things aren't connecting well for you, where you're not feeling fulfilled. And this can be a really scary thing, because once you really acknowledge that to yourself, well, then what? Yeah, you got to start moving forward. Here's step 2. As you're going to be developing this habit, is that with that information does come responsibility. And I tend to use a 3-question method here. Am I willing to accept it as is and no longer complain about it, or no longer be upset about it, or disappointed or frustrated about it? Am I now aware, and it's not a decision I can make overnight, but I have to start planning to either cut that thing out, move towards something new. Maybe it was a job change, what does that look like? So balancing the personal responsibility with, I guess, the personal responsibility, right? Like, it might not just be as easy as quitting your job or, leaving that person or whatever. But catch yourself that you're not going into excuse. And that excuse is like, well, now with that excuse, it's going to take me 1 year when really it could take you 1 or 2 months, right? It's how badly do you desire to get out of that space that you're not feeling great in? And then the third one is cut. Sometimes we can just cut right in that moment. A thought process, a belief system, something that we've taken on that we don't feel good about, taking up our time and energy, and it's not working. It's not serving you. It could be sometimes you make a decision that you're like, you know what? This is exactly what I needed to hear. This is my life. This is my one shot, I've been holding back and making that decision, and now it's time I take that step. So those are the general 3 different places you can go to. But on the other side, to just sit and not want to get clear, but be miserable and not be happy, and know that deep down your body keeps telling you that something's just not congruent, that you're not in alignment. Well, the further you avoid that, the further you push it away, keep yourself busy with too many other things and no space to even think or reflect, it will catch up to you. And it'll catch up to you in the form of your health, your mental health, your physical health, your relationships. The very things that you probably say that you care about the most is what's going to be affected by that. So when are you going to make that pause, make that reset? Let now be that time where you just start to move that needle forward. And so, going back to that habit in terms of this next step, I talked about, carving out that time in the morning and at night if you can. And it's really just about asking a few questions that are just going to help guide you and audit and reflect. Questions like, what's really exciting you today? What are you really excited about? Auditing questions like, what happened yesterday that didn't serve you, that genuinely stressed you out? Starting to, when you think about at nighttime, it's important. How you close off your day ends up being how you start your next day. So asking yourself questions about what are you grateful for? What was the most important thing that you did during your day? Right? Also, what caused stress? What caused conflict? And is there anything that you need to clean up so that you're clear on what you're responsible for? You know what's yours. Then you're clear on what do you need to accept and own? Maybe what do you need to cut and let go? What do you need to plan for? But just by adding some reflection time in the morning, in terms of, you want to call it journaling, reflection, just writing something down, call it whatever you want to, just do it. Because just by adding in, starting off with 10, 15 minutes in the morning, 10, 15 minutes at night, you will start to move the needle forward in terms of what it is you want your life to start to move forward towards, or your job, or your business. I can't even tell you how many times just for my own business that I am creating, how this has helped me. We get too stuck in the day-to-day. At some point, you need to pull back and start to work on things rather than in things. And you know what? It comes with some work, and that's just how it goes. You're never going to just snap your fingers and have everything just, all of a sudden everything just becomes magical and becomes the life that you want. It takes you making tough choices. But those tough choices, they connect you to the very things that you want most on the inside. And so, that's what I want to leave you with, is two things. I'm developing, and you're going to be seeing it come, a checklist. It's a form of different questions that you can print out to help you in that guiding process. So that, when you're there, wondering what you're going to ask yourself every single morning or at night, that is going to be there for you to help serve you. So keep your eyes open there. You can find that on my Facebook page, Charlotte Froh Change by Choice, and also on my website, charlottefroh.com. And the other thing, you got to give yourself grace in that process. I cannot stress this enough, especially people who are overachievers that are always pushing and working and want everything to be perfect. This is for you to really listen to right now. There is an evolution that happens with every step, with every misstep, something that we become more clear about. We understand ourselves more. If you are judging yourself and criticizing yourself through that entire process, you're missing out on the essence of what you're supposed to be learning. And so in carving out that time, it's that time for you. That is a gift to yourself. And if you're that person who is sitting there being like, I have no idea what I'm great at, I have no idea what I want to contribute, I have no idea, what I want to do with my life, and I'm not feeling great, this is for you too. So take the step, make the commitment, just be consistent with it. You will see things start to shift. And I will have tools there waiting and ready for you to help you in the next steps. And so just do that. Take the first step. And I promise you, you will start to see things move forward. All right. So you know what you need to do. I can't wait to see you start to take those steps in moving forward. You know that you can always send me messages if you've got certain questions or if you need some support in certain areas. You can message me through Facebook. And yeah, I'm here for you. I want to know what it is that you need that I can start to develop so that you have the tools to be able to move forward. That's what matters. But you got to be willing to put in the work. And that I can't do for you, my friend. So you got to make that choice. You got to commit to yourself. Think of this like self-care. It's as important, if not more important, than, working out and your nutrition and your sleep. This is a vital piece for you to be able to move forward the way that you want to, and not just hope that you're going to fall into the life that you have, because has that worked for you yet? And if it has, don't you want to level that up because you know you've got more in there? If you just became more clear, it's exciting. So take care. And just remember, your desired life is just one choice away, and how we change is one choice at a time. Take care.